What is really going on in the world right now? Because there's so much shifting, there's so much, chaos happening, there's so much resistance happening in the world. And it's interesting because all this stuff is coming up to the surface, but so many people are resisting, understandably so, because it's scary. There's fears, there's worries, and there's all sorts of things that naturally we just want to resist. But why is all this stuff coming up to the surface? Why are all these people so scared? Why is all this stuff coming up to the surface? All these fears, all these worries, all these anxieties. What's really going on in the world? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what's really going on, what the Great Awakening really is, what a 5D consciousness shift really is, and how all these things are actually playing out for a greater purpose to allow the earth to become a better earth, to transform, to become something new. And sometimes that means a lot of stuff coming up to the surface that's not so fun to look at. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So the one thing I want to share with you before I go into this video is what's really going on. When I have a title like what's really going on, it sounds like I know exactly what's going on and I have the logical answer for you. And the truth really is, if I'm going to be honest with myself and honest with you, no human being really knows at the logical level what's truly going on with the planet. It's like we have these ideas, we have these speculations, we have these theories, which I think are all beautiful theories and beautiful ideas, but it's more about noticing what's going on in your experience and then trying to kind of logically put it together, if that makes sense. So if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what's happening in the world at like a logical level. And it's like, Francis, what do you mean you don't know what's happening? So why are you recording this video? I wanted to know what's really going on. But that's the thing. What's really going on is that a lot of us are realizing that we don't know what's going on and that we're stepping into a deeper state of uncertainty, and part of us is learning to accept that. That's what's really going on. And so it's like, whoa, that makes sense. But that's just what it is. It's like what's really going on is that we're realizing as a collective that we don't know what's going on and that we are in a state of uncertainty and not knowingness, and we're becoming more comfortable with that. We're literally breaking down the structures of our own logic and the structures of our own minds. And so what's happening is that we're learning sort of to not be so attached to those structures, so attached to those thought ideas of what we think we know to be, what we think we know this world is, what we think that we know, the things that we're attached to. That's part of what's happening. It's just a state of complete not knowingness and being okay with that. Being okay with certain things falling away, being okay with being in that state of uncertainty, being okay with the fact that we don't necessarily know every single thing, but having trust in the fact that our egos are not running the show and that there is something deeper going on here, and that's what's really going on. What's really going on the planet is a realization that we are more in uncertainty than we think, and it's about having trust in that uncertainty and having trust in that feeling that we have in our hearts to follow what we truly want, not from a space of resistance or it's like, I'm so scared, I'm just going to accept that. And it's like, no, a true acceptance, a true allowing of the uncertainty, a true allowing where there's not going to be so much anxiety in your body and so much fear, because even despite the fear and the anxieties that are coming up in the world right now, there can be sort of an acceptance and allowing of that fear to be there, and allowing an observation of that fear to be there, understanding that if we literally learn to trust our hearts and to trust our intuitions more, things usually will work out. Not in the way that our minds think, but in a way that is in alignment with the divine plan, so to speak, if I'm going to use words like that. But it really is about understanding that our egos are not in control. Knowing everything is not going to be the solution to create the life that you want in this new reality that you call the new earth. Knowing everything with your mind is not going to be the solution anymore. If we try to attach to knowing everything with the mind, it is only going to slow down your path. And this is the truth. That is what's really going on, is knowing is not going to allow you to step into the higher reality that you choose to be in. Knowing everything will not allow you to step into that higher frequency that you truly want to live in. Knowing everything is not going to allow you to be in alignment with your purpose. Knowing will be a block. And so what's the solution? How can we get out of this state of knowing? Let go of your logical mind and connect deeper to the present moment in whatever way you can. More meditations. Follow your passion. Be in that state of uncertainty. This is what's really going on. Heart-based alignment. That's what this world is going to be. That's the prediction that I have for this world in the next 20 to 30, 40, 50 years. I think that heart-based alignment will be something that's more significant than ever. And I think personally that if we don't align with our hearts, there's going to be a lot of unnecessary resistance that that person has to deal with unless they chose to step into the reality where they follow their hearts. And I hate to say that. I hate to even say those words, but it's like, I think that's what's really going on. Deep heart-based alignment, deep connection to who you are, deep connection to your heart space, deep alignment with something that you don't even know you're aligning with, but it feels so right in your body that you know there's something greater than your ego at play here. You don't even have to question it. It's a knowing that goes far beyond your mind. That's the kind of knowing that we're stepping into. What's going on is knowing, but non-logical knowing. Intuitive heart knowing, a remembering of who we truly are. And part of this is about realizing that we have the freedom to live the life that we want, to not be stuck in some rigid confines that society has placed upon us. Now, I do want to be clear though, ultimate freedom implies that you are not a human being. So just remember that. Ultimate freedom is not what we want. Confines and boundaries are great. Without confines and boundaries and masculine energy to ground you into this reality, you literally would not be able to have a human experience. So I'm not demonizing or going against masculinity or going against confines, going against boundaries, going against regulations, going against rules, going against structure. Structure is great, but every single structure will always be a limitation. And so part of this shift that's going on in the world is just a letting go of some structures, a shift into a more freedom-based reality. Still with structure, but less logic, less knowing, more freedom. Not total freedom, because think about it like this. Total freedom is going to be too chaotic, too much chaos, too much surrender, too much allow. And you think that's beautiful, but like my intuition tells me that some boundaries and some structures are great. You need those boundaries to ground you into this physical reality. But what I think is this shift is about is shifting into a more freedom-based reality. Just more, not total freedom, but more freedom. That's what I think is happening in the world right now. More heart-based alignment, where less external forces are controlling us, to the point where we have more freedom to say, wait a second, I don't have to live a life based on my conditioning. I can choose to be in a reality that's actually more in alignment with my heart. I don't have to be controlled by external forces that were brought up, that brought me up and made me think that I have to be this way. Now, like I said, rules, boundaries, regulations are great, but all structures eventually become a limitation. every single structure eventually will become a limitation. And so right now we're realizing the limitations of the current structures that we have. And not when I say structures, you think I'm talking about some external societal structures. Sure, that's probably part of it, but I'm no politician. I can't speak on that, but I'm talking about internal mind structures, constructs that we create in our mind. And I think that part of this process is to let go of certain structures and step deeper into our heart space. I think eventually this planet is going to be a more heart-based planet with more freedom. There's still going to be masculinity. There's still going to be fear sometimes. There's still going to be more resistance, but I'm talking just more in the direction of consciousness, more in the direction of love and unity and peace. And so that is what I think is going on in the world. And I think that my invitation to you, because I can't tell you what to do, I'm never in a position to tell you what to do. It can sound like that sometimes because I get very motivational and very passionate about what I talk about, but the truth is, it's your free will to live the reality that you want. But my invitation to you is to have discernment with what's happening and actually to choose the reality that you want for yourself. And my invitation to you is to trust in your heart space. Like, it sounds so complicated, it sounds so cliche, but what if it could just really be that simple? What if it could just be tune into the present moment, follow your heart space? What if it really was that simple, but our minds make it complicated? It's like when I say stuff like that, it's like, for instance, what's the process? What's the system? How do I make it happen? What if it really just was that simple to just tune into the present moment and follow your heart? What if it was just that simple? Now, of course, there's certain things you can do, like meditation, which I would, of course, invite you to do those things. But what if it was just so simple that you could just follow your heart? I think that's where the world is truly headed right now. I think that is what is truly happening. And my invitation to you is be open to the fact that reality can be that simple. And you can just follow your heart. You can just create the reality that you want in a simple way. And that is what I think is really going on in this world right now as we speak. So once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.